Oh, hello, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Enlightened World Network. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love, and I'm Tomas Garza, your host, coming to you live here, live on a Friday here in North America. And if you've tuned in for the past few shows, my wife Cindy and I have been camping for the better part of the last week, and we're traveling here in the US state of Oregon on the West Coast. I lived here in this general area for 23 years prior to 2017, and my wife Cindy is from here. We're in fact visiting some friends and family. This is her daughter's house, and I'm upstairs in the attic. This is my broadcast studio for right now. I'll be coming to you live, not just today, but also tomorrow, and we're hitting the road. We've gone off on a beautiful road trip, and we're headed back to Arizona on Monday. So today and tomorrow, I'll still be broadcasting from right here. And as I bring up the live stream, I want to invite you to pop in here and say hello to us here live if you're tuning in. And if you have questions or comments, as always, my intention for this show is to not only show up and teach, but also to have an interactive forum. That's one of the beauties of having a live stream. And it's just really nice to be able to have this kind of interaction. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, comments or questions about spirituality in general are most welcome, as are comments about A Course in Miracles specifically. So some of you may be familiar with the self-study curriculum, A Course in Miracles. Some of you perhaps are not, and that's okay, because it covers universal spirituality. So quite literally, everyone is welcome on this live stream. Totally inclusive, because everything that the Course talks about applies to each and every one of us. So definitely please feel welcome to ask your questions. Now, the way this typically works is I'll have about 10 to 15 minutes worth of commentary, depending on what comes up, and I never know exactly what I'm going to say on a given day. Depending on what comes up, it might be slightly longer than that, but I will hop on because I've got the live stream and all of the comments. And thank you all for tuning in. And I will catch those toward the end of the broadcast here. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. And if you've tuned in before, welcome back. All right. So we're covering a series of ideas in the Workbook for Students, which is one of the best known, perhaps the best known component of A Course in Miracles. What this is a series of 365 ideas. They are called lessons. They're ideas with some commentary in the written course itself, and some suggestions for practice. Now, that is really where the rubber meets the road. It's why you'll find a lot of people starting the workbook and stopping it because of the practice and the commitment to practice that it entails. So I have to say that this is no different than any spiritual practice. If you show up and you have a commitment to practice the path, whatever it looks like for you, this is no different. It's exactly the same. So wherever you are in the workbook, the ideas themselves are very profound. And I will submit that if you do nothing other than just remember the idea and remind yourself of the idea during the day, you will make progress on the path because they're very profound. And what we discover, of course, as adult learners, is we need to learn things by repetition. Oh, yeah. So I repeat myself. We all do. Okay. The idea for today is lesson 159. I give the miracles I have received. So yesterday we spent some time talking about giving and receiving, and how the world's view of giving and receiving differs from the view of giving and receiving as put forth in A Course in Miracles. They're fundamentally different things. I give the miracles I have received, and rest assured that you have received all miracles, every single one. And also rest assured, and the Course tells us this, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. So literally moving a mountain and extending forgiveness to yourself for stubbing your toe are exactly the same. No order of difficulty means one is absolutely just like any other. So a miracle's a miracle, and you have received them all. So does it feel like you've received them all? No, maybe not. Maybe not. In the world, we need to learn. And a learning environment is one where we're gradually reawakening to the truth of who we really are, which is beyond learning. It's never gone anywhere. We looked at this yesterday. And Christ consciousness, in other words, the vision of Christ deals with a purified perception where we perceive things very differently than we currently do. That paves the way for what the Course calls revelation, not the book of the Bible revelation, but revelation as in the direct experience of your oneness with God. You'll hear this again from me and from other spiritual teachers, as long as you shall live, and then continuing on from there. And again, as many times as you need to hear it, right? Our oneness with God. Oneness, yes. I give the miracles I've received. So let's talk about giving and receiving again. It's fundamentally misunderstood in the world, and for very good reason. We are bombarded in social media, in the press, and conditioned from a very young age to think that if you give something, you are out something. If I give someone $20, I'm $20 poorer. I'm out that, right? In order to keep something, the world teaches us we have to keep it. We have to keep it close to ourselves and not give it away. If we wish to keep something, then we cannot give it. That is what the world teaches us. This Course teaches us the complete opposite of that. And here is the truth about giving is we will never be able to realize that we have something until we give it away. If we want to keep something, we give it away. Very important distinction. If we wish to keep something, we give it away. This is how we know that we have received it. Very important. If you extend miracles, you know that you have received miracles. It will serve as a confirmation for you. When you see your brothers and sisters as yourself, then you will experience your own wholeness. When you give love, you realize that you have more love than you did before. It grows and strengthens in you. Another way of saying that, you have received it and you receive a confirmation of this. When you give healing, you recognize that you're healed. And here's a big one that I want to touch on here for the rest of this live stream. And that's when you extend forgiveness, you realize you are forgiven. In order to keep something, you give it away. This is what the Holy Spirit teaches us. This is what spirituality and salvation teach us. When you extend love, you feel more loving, right? There's a very loving dog right behind me. So let's just use the dog as an example. When you extend love and pat the dog and talk to the dog doesn't necessarily understand what you're saying, but he'll respond to the love. Yeah, people can be exactly the same way. When you extend it, how do you feel? More loving? You recognize that you have it right away. The dog gives it back. Animals are, in fact, a very good mirror for us in this regard. It's a perfect example. And well, I don't know if you can see him, but Rusty is, no, well, he's not visible to the camera because he's moved, but he's right behind me. Anyway, Rusty, say hello to everybody worldwide. He says hi. All right. So a very, very important point about forgiveness. When we extend forgiveness to other people, we recognize that we're forgiven. And you can't give something away that you don't have. Now, the world and salvation agree completely on that. You have received forgiveness. You have received miracles. Therefore, you can give them away and take it one step further, can and must give them away. Through doing this, they're strengthened. Your own conviction is strengthened. Your own capacity as a teacher is strengthened. Doesn't matter if you call yourself a teacher or not, as I do, doesn't make any difference. If you wish to keep something, give it away. And you can't give what you don't have. You have miracles. You have forgiveness. You have wholeness. How do I know? It's who we all are. So when you begin to have the experience of this on the path, I promise you, an entirely different world opens up. We saw this yesterday. That is the vision of Christ. It's the world forgiven. Yeah, it's what the Course refers to as the real world. It's seeing it differently than you do now. Now, of course, our reality is beyond all perception, but we can get to a point where we're ready to have the direct experience of our oneness with God. That is what we're all going to experience. You may have experienced glimpses of this, and if you've experienced so much as a fraction of a second of this union, you'll know that you'll never experience this world the same again. Many of you have had such experiences along the path. And if you've not, you will. You will, because full and complete awakening is each of our destiny. And if you've started off on the path, well, you can't go back. Sorry about that. Not sorry. Yeah, you shouldn't be either. You cannot go back once you've begun this journey. It is a journey that will lead to full awakening. Now, when will that happen? I don't have any idea. Could be in 15 minutes. Could be 15 lifetimes from now. We don't know. All we have is the present moment, and this is an opportunity to forgive. It's an opportunity to give healing, to give love, to extend loving thoughts, loving energy to every living thing, including the world itself and ideas. It's an opportunity to choose love. Now, this is what I mean by choosing love, is extending love, extending forgiveness, not special love, like loving some person and not another person. I mean, totally inclusive love with a capital L. Why? That's who we are. All right. I give the miracles that I have received, and rest assured, you have received them, all of them, all of them. All right. So let's check in. There are several people that are on this live stream today. So this is always a lot of fun. I want to take a moment here and say hello to all of you. Kristen, hi, how are you? Isabel, hi. And Joanna, thank you for tuning in, all of you. Thank you so much. If you have questions, please feel welcome to leave questions here. And if you're catching me on the replay, I do, of course, check this live stream from time to time throughout the day. So I'll be able to hop on there. And this is intended to be a discussion forum. So if you have questions or comments, please feel welcome to leave them. And if you'd like to get a hold of me directly, then of course you're more than welcome to message me on Facebook. There is some information here for how to reach me. My website address is here, and that's here in the comments. So feel welcome if you'd like to do this privately. And if you are comfortable asking questions or making comments here, you never know who you're going to reach. There could be somebody out there in the world that is asking your exact same question. And by your stepping forward in a public forum worldwide and asking, you may have, without knowing it, benefited people on the other side of the world whom you'll never meet in person. And that's one of the beauties of this technology, isn't it? We can reach each other so much more readily and so much easier than before. Now I love it because I remember what it was like without the internet. We still had fun. I literally had to play with sticks and things as a kid. I grew up in the desert in New Mexico, in the southwestern part of the United States. And we always received instruction as our parents pretty much turned us out of the house at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, saying, come back when it's dark. And we would run out and play all day. We always received specific instruction not to pick up the tarantulas because they may bite. It's good advice, but there were always those kids that would find a tarantula running around and pick it up anyway. I was not one of those kids, by the way. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, which is off the subject, or is it? Yeah, I say it's not. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be broadcasting here live from Western Oregon again tomorrow morning, tomorrow Saturday here in North America. And then I'll be back next week from my home base in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have comments, questions, anything of the sort, please feel welcome to leave them here. And thank you all for joining me today.